Let me tell you a story. Not just any story, but yours. A story that's been buried, twisted, and silenced by voices that didn't want you to hear it. Because when they looked at you, they didn't see weakness. They saw a storm, powerful and untamed, and that terrified them. So they did what the fearful always do. They lied, they whispered falsehoods into your ears, wove webs of doubt around your heart, and pressed their fear into the shape of your reflection until you began to believe their version of you. But here's the truth, and it's a truth they've been running from. You are unbreakable. Oh, they tried, didn't they? They tried to tear you apart, to scatter your pieces across the winds of despair. They thought if they piled on enough shame, enough rejection, enough betrayal, you'd collapse under the weight. If they thought of the power they had over you, if they thought of the weight they placed on your body, but here you are, still standing. They underestimated one thing, your resilience. It wasn't their lies that shaped you. It was your truth, burning quietly beneath their attempts to smother it. You see, lies are fragile things. They crack and crumble under the pressure of light. And your truth, your unstoppable, undeniable truth, is a wildfire. It doesn't whisper, it roars. It doesn't beg for permission, it demands to be seen. And that's what they feared most. Not the version of you they tried to construct, but the real you. The you that knows the difference between survival and surrender. The you that refused to be defined by their fear. This is the moment where everything changes. This is the moment you realize that their lies were never about you. No, their lies were about them, their insecurities, their frailties, their inability to face someone who could not be controlled. They saw your strength, and it terrified them. So they sought to cage it. But the thing about caged fire is that it doesn't die. It grows, it waits, and when the moment comes, it ignites with a force no lie can contain. So this is your invitation. Step into the light of your own truth. Let the lies burn away, reduced to ashes by the heat of your resilience. And as you take that first step, remember this. They lied because they knew they couldn't break you. Now it's time for the truth, to show them why they should have feared you all along. Listen closely, because this is not a story you've been told before. This is not a lullaby to soothe you, nor a comforting tale to rock you back to sleep. This is your wake-up call, the moment where the chains they wrapped around your spirit begin to shatter, not quietly, not gently, but with the thunderous crack of your truth finally breaking free. Can you feel it? That tension deep in your chest, that pull between who they told you to be and who you know you are? It's like standing on the edge of a great abyss, the wind of your doubts whipping around you, threatening to push you over. Hell, but here's the secret they never wanted you to discover. The abyss doesn't own you. It never did. That fear you feel isn't yours, it's theirs. They built it with their lies, their rules, their limits, all to keep you tethered, to keep you small. But that ends today. You've heard the whispers, haven't you? The doubts in your mind that sound suspiciously like their voices. You're not enough. You can't do this. Stay where you belong. But let me ask you something. What happens when you stop listening? What happens when you take all that doubt, all that fear, and instead of shrinking beneath it, you rise? You've been bending under their weight for far too long, but bending isn't breaking, and you are not broken. You are something else entirely. Let's be clear. They lied to you. They lied to you because your truth was too dangerous. It was too wild, too free, too uncontainable for their fragile cages. And so they tried to bind you with falsehoods, hoping you wouldn't notice that the only thing keeping you tied down was your belief in their words. But belief is a choice, and today you choose differently. Today you choose to see the chains for what they really are, illusions, as flimsy as the shadows they cast. Picture this, a heavy iron chain, links forged from every lie they've ever told you. It hangs around your neck, weighing you down, making you doubt every step you take. Now picture this, one by one, the links begin to crack. The lies that said you weren't smart enough, strong enough, worthy enough. Snap, snap, snap. Can you hear it? The sound of freedom coming alive? It's not soft or polite, it's a roar, a battle cry, a declaration that the truth can no longer be silenced. Here's the thing about truth. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait to be acknowledged. It simply is. And when you stop running from it, when you stop hiding behind the lies they've fed you, it becomes the foundation of your strength. The world doesn't need another version of you that bends to their will. The world needs the you that cannot be tamed, the you that stands up and says, enough! This moment right here, this is your awakening. This is the part of your story where you stop being the victim of their narrative and start writing your own. This is the part where you reclaim your voice, not as a whisper, but as a shout that echoes through every corner of your life. and the shadow. This razor of light darkening the entire within the human. This is where you decide that their lies no longer hold power over you, because the truth is louder, brighter, and stronger than anything they could ever say. Take a deep breath and feel it. The fire they tried to extinguish still burns within you. It's not a flicker, it's a blaze, waiting for you to unleash it. The strength you thought was gone is still there, buried beneath their words but untouched, unbroken, and now it's rising. Like molten steel, it's forging you into something unstoppable. They told you that your fire was dangerous, and they were right, but not in the way they meant. It's dangerous to them because it's the one thing they can't control. So, what are you waiting for? The lies have done their damage, but they've also revealed their weakness. Lies can only hold power as long as you believe in them. The moment you see through them, the moment you refuse to carry their weight any longer, they lose all their strength. And when they do, there's nothing left to hold you back. You are standing at the crossroads of who you've been and who you are destined to become. The question isn't whether you're ready, it's whether you're willing. Willing to let go of the lies, to step into the truth, to become the version of yourself that they feared most. Willing to rise, not in spite of their attempts to break you, but because of them. This is it. The chains are breaking, the truth is rising, and you, yes you, are about to show them what happens when lies crumble beneath the weight of a truth that cannot be denied. This is your moment. Claim it. Burn bright. Let them fear the fire they couldn't put out. There's a storm inside you, isn't there? Claim it, young man. It rages quietly, never fully subsiding. A relentless churn of memories, doubts, and the echoes of words you never wanted to hear. It's the storm of everything you've been through. The lies they told you, the weight they placed on your shoulders, the scars you carry not just on your body, but on your soul. You've stood in this storm for so long, it's hard to imagine what life feels like without the rain. Let's talk about the lies. Not the little ones that fade into the background, but the big ones. The ones that anchored themselves in your chest, that whispered in your ear until they sounded like your own voice. You're not good enough. You'll never make it. Who do you think you are to even try? Those lies didn't just hurt, they took root. They spread like vines, choking out your confidence, suffocating your dreams, wrapping around your heart until you started to believe they were true. And who told you these lies? Was it the world with its impossible standards, its relentless judgment? Was it someone close to you, a parent, a friend, a lover? Someone who should have lifted you up but instead tore you down? Or was it you? Because sometimes the cruelest lies are the ones we tell ourselves, born from years of carrying the weight of other people's expectations and failures. Whoever planted the seed doesn't matter as much as this. It's been growing, unchecked, for far too long. Unless you've been walking around like a vessel, carrying the weight of everyone else's fears and insecurities. Think about that for a moment. How much of what you believe about yourself is truly yours? How much of it was handed to you by others, packaged as truth, but was really just their way of keeping you in a place they found comfortable? You've been carrying burdens that were never yours to bear, dragging them through every step of your life until your back aches and your spirit feels crushed. It's not just the lies, though, is it? It's the weight of the pain they caused. It's not too late to change your story, or to live from the place they caused you to live in. Every time you doubted yourself, every time you felt small, every time you swallowed your voice instead of speaking your truth, it added to the load. And when you look back, you see all those moments like cracks in a foundation, making you wonder if you'll ever be whole again. You've had days where getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain, where the idea of facing the world seemed impossible because you didn't believe you had anything left to give. To press forward into the dark and trust that whatever was waiting for you was worthy of trust. And you felt like you fell into a trap, seeing the world in the dark to goose. And then there's the doubt. Oh, the doubt, it's like a shadow that follows you everywhere, a constant companion that whispers in your ear at the worst moments. You've doubted your worth, your abilities, your very existence. You've looked in the mirror and wondered if you'll ever see someone worthy of love, of success, of happiness. You've questioned every decision you've made, every step you've taken, until it felt safer to stand still than risk moving forward. But let's not forget the villain in your story, the one who fed you these lies and stood back as you crumbled under their weight. Maybe it was society, with its unspoken rules about who you're supposed to be and what you're allowed to want. Maybe it was a toxic relationship where someone chipped away at your confidence until all that was left was a shell of the person you used to be. Maybe it was the work, the managing director of the retail store that left you unbalanced. How long ago was it all allowed, until all that was left was a shell of the person you used to be? Or maybe the villain is inside you, a version of yourself that clings to fear and refuses to let go. Whoever or whatever the villain is, it's been relentless. It's been the storm, the rain, the wind that howls and bites at your resolve. It's told you to give up more times than you can count. It's knocked you down over and over, until standing up felt like an act of defiance. And yet, here you are. Do you understand what that means? It means that no matter how many times the storm has come, it hasn't won. You've bent, but you haven't broken. You've stumbled, but you've kept moving. You've doubted, but you've never stopped dreaming. You've been battered, but you're not defeated. And deep inside you, beneath the pain and the lies, there's a light that refuses to go out. It's small, maybe, flickering like a candle in the wind, but it's there. That light is your truth. It's the part of you that knows, even in your darkest moments, that you are more than the lies they told you, that you are more than your scars, your struggles, your failures. Take a moment to feel that light. It's warm, isn't it? Soft but unyielding. It's been with you through every storm, quietly waiting for you to see it, to feel its strength, because that light isn't just a reminder of who you are, it's proof of what you've survived. They tried to extinguish it, but they couldn't. They told you lies, but they couldn't erase your truth. They broke pieces of you, but they couldn't break your soul. So yes, the storm has been relentless. The lies, the pain, the doubts, they've all been there screaming for your attention, trying to drown you, but the storm hasn't won. You're still here. You're still breathing. And as long as that's true, the storm hasn't beaten you. It's forged you. It's tested your strength, and every time you've survived, you've proven that you are unbreakable. The storm didn't extinguish your light, it made it shine brighter. This is your truth. You've been through hell, and you're still standing. I've had some days where I think about that. The closer you get to the surface, the more you realize that. The lies couldn't break you. The pain didn't destroy you. The villain in your story didn't win. And now it's time to step out of the storm and into the light. Because the only thing stronger than the storm is you. Always has been, always will be. There's a place you've been, haven't you? A place so dark, so suffocating that it feels like the walls are pressing in with every passing moment. It's not a physical place, but it's real enough to steal the breath from your lungs, to weigh down your chest like an invisible anchor. This place is despair. A relentless void where time slows, where every minute feels like an hour, and where every thought drips with the bitterness of hopelessness. You know what it's like to stay in this place. To wake up in the morning and feel that sinking dread before your feet even touch the ground. To carry a heaviness in your heart that no one else seems to notice. And isn't that the cruelest part? The isolation? The feeling that no one truly sees what you're going through? That the world is spinning on without you while you're trapped in this endless fog? You've tried to explain it before, haven't you? But how do you put into words something that feels so endless when the truth is so bleak? We can hide, but we can't escape. We can't escape the pain we feel, because if we do, we'll be trapped in that endless fog. When the world wants to neutralize your strength, if the world wants to take you away because we can't start the truth healing process, when the world wants to neutralize your strength, if the world wants to tune you up, though all-consuming, how do you explain that some days it's hard to move, to think, to even breathe? That you walk through life with a painted-on smile, doing everything you can to keep others from seeing the cracks in your armor, and yet, when the mask slips, when someone does catch a glimpse of your struggle, they brush it aside. You're just tired, they say. You'll feel better tomorrow. But tomorrow comes, and the weight is still there. It's not just the heaviness that drags you down. It's the cost. Because staying in despair comes at a price, doesn't it? It's not just the days you lose to numbness, the nights you spend staring at the ceiling, wondering if it's worth it to keep going. It's the opportunities that slip through your fingers, the relationships that wither because you can't find the strength to nurture them. It's the sacrifice you give yourself so they can have the freedom to go on. It's the dreams you've buried, the goals you've abandoned, the version of yourself you've slowly let go of because reaching for it feels impossible. Think about the things you've missed while you've been stuck here. The laughter you didn't let yourself feel because the darkness wouldn't let you. The risks you didn't take because the voice in your head told you, what's the point? The moments of connection you turned away from because you couldn't bring yourself to believe you were worthy of them. How many times have you told yourself, I'll try again tomorrow, only for tomorrow to come and go in the same haze of doubt and pain? And yet, it's not just the things you've missed, it's the things you've lost. Because despair is a thief, isn't it? It doesn't just steal your time, it steals your hope, your joy, your sense of self. It takes the parts of you that once felt alive and vibrant and replaces them with emptiness. You look in the mirror, and you don't even recognize the person staring back. Where did they go? Where is the version of you who used to dream, who used to fight, who used to believe? But here's the thing about despair. It's a liar. It tells you that staying stuck is safer than trying to move forward. It whispers in your ear that it's better to stay in the dark than to risk stepping into the light. At least here, it says, you know what to expect. At least here, you can't fail. But that's not safety. That's stagnation. That's a slow death, not of the body, but of the spirit. And if you're honest with yourself, you know what it feels like to stay stuck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20. You know the pain of it, the way it gnaws at you from the inside, the way it makes every day feel like a battle just to exist. You know the way it shrinks your world, cutting you off from the people and experiences that could bring you back to life. You know the way it convinces you that you're not worth saving, that this is all there is, that you might as well give up. But here's the truth that despair doesn't want you to see. Staying here is a choice. Choice doesn't feel like one, does it? It feels like you're trapped, like the walls are too high to climb, like the darkness is too thick to push through. But the walls aren't real. The darkness isn't endless. The chains that hold you here are made of the lies you've been told and the lies you've told yourself. And yet, even as you read these words, there's a part of you that resists, part of you that says, but you don't understand. You don't know how deep it goes, how heavy it feels, how hard it is to even think about moving forward. And you're right, I don't know your exact pain. I don't know the shape of the shadows that haunt you or the weight of the burdens you carry. But I do know this. The longer you stay here, the more you lose. The longer you stay here, the harder it becomes to remember that there's a world outside the darkness. So, let me ask you this. Is this where you want to stay? Is this how you want your story to end? Because every day you spend here, stuck in despair, is a day you don't get back. Every moment you let the lies win. Every opportunity you let slip away. Every step you don't take is a moment that could have been yours, not theirs. Not the world's, yours. And that's what despair doesn't want you to realize. It doesn't own you. It feels like it does. It feels like it's wrapped itself around your soul and claimed you as its own. But that's the biggest lie of all. Despair is a squatter in a space it doesn't belong. It's taken up residence in your mind, in your heart, but it doesn't own the deed. You do. So yes, let's acknowledge the darkness. Let's look it in the eye and see it for what it is. A thief, a liar, a storm that's tried its best to tear you apart. But let's also acknowledge this. You're still here. And as long as you're here, as long as you're breathing, you have a choice. You can let the darkness convince you that this is all there is, or you can decide that you deserve more. More light, more hope, more life. Because staying in despair isn't living, it's existing. And you were meant for so much more than that. You were meant to fight, to rise, to take back what's yours. You were meant to break free, to step into the light, and to show the darkness that it doesn't get to win. Not now, not ever. You've walked through the fire, haven't you? You've felt the heat of despair licking at your heels, the relentless flames of doubt and fear trying to consume you. But here's the truth they never told you. Fire doesn't just destroy, it forges. And you, my friend, are not ashes. You are a phoenix, wings of fire stretched wide, born anew from the very flames that tried to break you. Take a moment to look at your scars, not as marks of defeat, but as proof of survival. Each scar tells a story, doesn't it? A story of battles fought, pain endured, and resilience found. They're not imperfections, they're trophies. Evidence that you've lived through storms that would have destroyed someone weaker, and while the world may see them as flaws, you know better. Resilience, they are maps of your strength, etched into your skin and soul, reminding you of every moment you refuse to give up. You see, pain has a way of shaping us. It's the crucible in which we are tested, the forge that burns away the lies and reveals the truth beneath. It's not easy, is it, to take the pieces of yourself that have been shattered and rebuild? But what if I told you that those broken pieces are not the end of your story? What if I told you that those broken pieces are not the end of your story? What if I told you they're the beginning of something greater? Imagine a mosaic, each piece, once broken, now fitted together to form something beautiful. That's you. Every piece of your past, every crack and flaw has a place in the masterpiece that is your life. You're not less because you've been broken. You are more because you've chosen to rebuild. And the light doesn't shine in spite of the cracks. It shines through them. The parts of you that were once broken are now windows, letting the light of your resilience pour out into the world. And let's talk about that light, because it's always been there, hasn't it? Even in your darkest moments, there was something inside you that refused to be extinguished. Maybe it was a whisper, barely audible beneath the roar of the storm. Maybe it was a flicker, too small to notice at first, but it was there, waiting for you to see it, to claim it, to let it grow. That light is your truth. It's the part of you that knows deep down that you are more than your pain, more than your scars, more than the lies they told you. It's the part of you that knows you are worthy, not because of what you've done or haven't done, but simply because you exist. It's the part of you that refuses to settle for a life defined by fear and doubt. And now, it's time to let that light shine. But how do you do that? How do you take the weight of everything you've been through and turn it into fuel for growth? It starts with a choice to see your story not as a tragedy, but as a tale of transformation. A choice to stop running from your pain and start using it as a foundation for your strength. A choice to become the hero of your own story. You've heard the voices of your doubts, haven't you? They've told you that you're not strong enough, that you're not brave enough, that you're not enough. But here's what they don't want you to realize. Heroes aren't born in the absence of fear. They're born in the face of it. Heroes are the ones who feel the fear, the doubt, the pain, and choose to rise anyway. And that's what you are. A hero in the making. Not because you've never fallen, but because you've always gotten back up. Think about the people who doubted you, who tried to define you with their lies. They didn't see your strength, did they? Or maybe they did, and that's what scared them most. Because people like them fear what they can't control. They fear the ones who refuse to be confined, who refuse to live according to someone else's rules. And that's you. You've already broken free from the lies, they just haven't realized it yet. Picture yourself standing on a battlefield, surrounded by the wreckage of everything you've been through. The pain, the scars, the broken pieces, they're all there, scattered around you. And yet you're standing tall, not as a victim of the battle, but as a survivor, a warrior. The sword in your hand is forged from your pain, its blade sharp with the lessons you've learned. The armor you wear is made of your scars, each one a piece of proof that you've been through the fire and come out stronger. This is your moment. This is where you stop seeing your past as a weight and start seeing it as a weapon. This is the Mean Lord's father. My name is Martin. The lies they told you, they're fuel for your fire. The doubts you've carried, they're stepping stones to your strength. The pain you've endured, it's the forge that's made you who you are. And who you are is unstoppable. Because here's the thing, you don't have to wait for permission to rise. You don't have to wait for someone else to see your worth or believe in your dreams. You don't even have to wait until you feel ready. The truth is, you'll never feel fully ready, but you're ready enough, and that's all it takes. One step, one choice, one moment of courage. So rise. Rise with the fire of your truth burning in your chest. Rise with the strength of your scars and the power of your pain. Rise with the knowledge that you are more than their lies, more than your doubts, more than your past. Rise, not as someone who has been defeated, but as someone who has been transformed. Go. Rise, because the world needs your light. Rise, because you deserve to see what happens when you refuse to stay down. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one where you are the hero, the warrior, the phoenix. And the fire that tried to destroy you, it's the same fire that will carry you forward. Wings ablaze, unshakable, unstoppable, undeniable. This is your time. Rise. There comes a moment, a single undeniable moment, where everything changes. It's not loud at first. It doesn't announce itself with fanfare or a sudden burst of clarity. No, it's a whisper at the edge of your awareness, a small but persistent voice asking a single question. What if this isn't the end? What if this is the beginning? Let that question settle in, because this is your moment. The turning point you didn't see coming. The moment when you realize that the chains that have held you down aren't unbreakable. In fact, they never were. They were illusions, born of lies, fueled by fear, and given strength only by your belief in them. And now, as the weight of those chains presses against your skin, you finally see the cracks in the metal. You finally feel the heat of your truth melting them away. But let's go deeper. Who are you waiting for? What are you afraid of? These are not rhetorical questions. They are the questions you must answer right here, right now. To come out of the shadows and face the sun. Because the life you want, the freedom you crave, the light you've been searching for is already within you. The only thing keeping you from it is the belief that you're not ready. But let me tell you something. You are ready. You've always been ready. You see, the lies they told you were never about you. They weren't reflections of your worth or your abilities. They were projections of their fears. So getting clear, getting vulnerable, and then getting brave will take what it takes. I believe in what you choose. Think about it. Why would someone lie to you, diminish you, tear you down unless they were terrified of what you might become? Unless they saw a power in you that you hadn't yet discovered? The lies weren't meant to destroy you, they were meant to control you. But here's the truth they didn't count on. You cannot control what refuses to stay small. So let me ask you again, who are you waiting for? So, Randall Tower James, a savior? A sign? Permission? Look around you. No one is coming to save you because no one else can. This is your battle, your story, your truth. And the sign you've been waiting for? It's already here. It's in the beating of your heart, the fire in your chest, the undeniable fact that you are still here, still standing, still breathing, despite everything that tried to take you down. You've been standing at a crossroads, haven't you? One path leads back to the familiar, to the lies and the weight and the fear. It's the path you know, the one you've walked 1,000 times before. But look closer. What has that path ever given you? It's comfortable in its familiarity, but it's a comfort that comes at a cost. It's the comfort of staying small, of shrinking to fit the expectations of others, of living a life that isn't truly yours. And then there's the other path, the one that's harder, less certain, but infinitely more rewarding. It's the path of truth, of freedom, of stepping into your power even when it scares you. It's the path where you stop waiting for someone to hand you the life you want and start creating it for yourself. It's the path where you look fear in the eye and say, "You don't control me anymore." This is the moment where you choose. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someday. Now. This is the moment where you stop letting the lies define you. This is the moment where you decide that your story isn't over, that the pain you've endured isn't the end of the chapter, but the fuel for what comes next. This is the moment where you realize that everything you've been searching for is already inside you. Do you feel it? That spark in your chest? That's your truth. That's your power. And it's been waiting for you to see it, to claim it, to let it burn brighter than the lies, brighter than the fear, brighter than anything that's tried to hold you back. That spark is the beginning of your liberation. From the B minor, it's the fire that melts the chains, the light that cuts through the darkness, the force that propels you forward. So what are you going to do with it? Are you going to let it fade, or are you going to fan it into a flame? Are you going to let the lies win, or are you going to stand tall and say no more? Because the power has always been yours. The choice has always been yours. And now, in this moment, you get to decide. Picture this. The chains that once held you down are no longer heavy, no longer cold. They're softening, melting, transforming into something new. They're becoming tools, not of your oppression, but of your liberation. The links that once bound you are now the steel in your spine, the strength in your step, the weapon in your hand. You are not a prisoner anymore. You are a warrior, forged in the fire of your truth, unshakable, unstoppable, undeniable. And as you step forward, you realize something profound. The lies weren't just meant to hold you back. They were a test of your resilience, your courage, your ability to rise. A step closer, the universe reveals itself. Everything that you think is real is just a mirror. A step forward, you realize something profound, and you've passed. You've passed because you're still here, because you've chosen to keep fighting, because you've decided that your truth is worth more than their fear. You've passed because you've realized that the only person who gets to define your worth is you. So rise. Rise with the power of your truth coursing through your veins. Rise with the knowledge that you are enough, that you've always been enough, that you'll always be enough. Rise with the determination to take back your story, to write a new chapter, to create a life that is yours and yours alone. Rise, not as someone who has been broken, but as someone who has been remade. This is your moment. This is your turning point. This is the beginning of everything you've been waiting for, making it as far north as you can. And as you take that first step, as you let go of the lies and step into the light of your truth, remember this. They lied because they feared you. They feared your strength, your resilience, your power. And now it's time to show them why. Rise, shine, burn bright. The chains are gone, the lies are silenced, and the truth, your truth, is louder than ever. This is your story, your life, your time, stronger than ever. This is your story, your life, your tune. Make it count. The battlefield is quiet now, isn't it? The storm has passed, the chains are gone, and the lies that once held you captive are nothing more than echoes fading into the distance. But this silence isn't the end, it's the beginning. This is the moment where you step forward, where you take the raw materials of your life, your scars, your pain, your resilience, and build something extraordinary. You've come so far. You've stood in the storm, you've faced the weight of despair, and you've discovered the truth of who you are. Now the question is no longer what have you been through, it's what will you do next? Because the power is in your hands now, and it's time to wield it. Step 1. Own your story. Every scar you carry is a story, a testament to your survival. Look at them, not with shame, but with pride. These marks are proof that you fought battles and come out on the other side. They are your medals, your trophies, your reminders that you are stronger than anything that has tried to break you. Think about the moments that hurt the most, the ones that felt impossible to survive. You did survive them, and that survival isn't just a fact, it's a victory. So own it, stand tall, and claim your story, every chapter, every word. No one else gets to define you anymore. Your story belongs to you. Step 2. Shift your perspective. Your pain is not a burden, it's fuel. It's the fire that will keep you moving forward, the energy that will propel you toward the life you deserve. Stop seeing your struggles as roadblocks and start seeing them as stepping stones. Each one has brought you closer to this moment, to this realization, to this power that's been waiting inside you all along. Imagine your pain as a forge, a place where you've been shaped and strengthened. The fire didn't destroy you, it refined you. And now you stand as something unbreakable, something forged by the very things that tried to consume you. Embrace that. Let it guide you. Step 3. Take action. Power isn't found in waiting, it's found in doing. It's found in taking that first step, even when you're scared, even when you're uncertain. So what will you do today? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. What's one small, meaningful action you can take to move closer to the life you want? Maybe it's reaching out to someone who believes in you. Maybe it's setting a boundary with someone who doesn't. Maybe it's dusting off a dream you've tucked away and daring to believe it's possible again. Whatever it is, do it. Don't wait for permission, because you don't need it. The only permission you need is your own. Step 4. Embrace the unknown. The road ahead isn't clear, and that's okay. Growth happens in the unknown, in the places where you're forced to trust yourself, to lean into your strength, to take risks. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's scary. But it's also where the magic happens. It's where you discover just how much you're capable of. You've faced the worst already, haven't you? You've stood in the darkest places, endured the heaviest burdens, and come out the other side. The unknown has nothing on you. Step into it with courage, with curiosity, with the knowledge that whatever comes, you'll face it and you'll overcome it. Step 5. Build your tribe. No hero fights alone. Surround yourself with people who see your light, who uplift you, who remind you of your power when you forget. Let go of the ones who dim your spark, who feed your doubts, who make you question your worth. Your journey is too important to carry dead weight. Find your tribe, the ones who celebrate your victories and stand by you in your struggles. These are the people who will walk with you, who will challenge you, who will remind you of your truth when the world tries to make you forget. Treasure them, lean on them, let them remind you that you're never truly alone. Step 6. Forgive yourself. You've made mistakes, we all have. But those mistakes don't define you. It's all about taking responsibility for the mistakes you make. They're not the end of your story, they're part of your growth. Forgive yourself for the times you stayed silent when you should have spoken. Forgive yourself for the opportunities you didn't take, for the times you let fear win. Forgive yourself for being human. Because here's the thing, you can't move forward while holding on to the weight of regret. Let it go. Give yourself the grace you so freely give to others. You are not your past, you are your potential. And your potential is limitless. Step 7. Reclaim your dreams. What did you dream of before the world told you to stop? What did you want, deep down, before the lies and the doubts and the fear got in the way? It's still there, waiting for you. Reclaim it. Dust it off, hold it close, and let it guide you. Your dreams are not impossible. They are not too big, too bold, or too far out of reach. They are yours for a reason. They are the map to the life you're meant to live. So, follow them. Trust them. Let them lead you to a future where you are fully alive. Step 8. Keep rising. This is not a one-time thing. Time of empowerment is a choice you make every day. Some days will be easier than others. Some days you'll feel unstoppable. And some days you'll feel like you're back at square one. That's okay. Keep going. Keep rising. Keep choosing to step into your power, even when it's hard. Because every step forward is a victory. Every time you rise, you prove to yourself and to the world that you are not defined by your past, by your pain, or by their lies. You are defined by your truth, by your strength, by your refusal to give up. Picture yourself standing on the battlefield of your life. Around you are the shadows of your struggles, the echoes of the lies, the remnants of the chains that once held you down. And in the center of it all, there you are, standing tall, illuminated by your inner light. This is your moment, This is your story. This is your life, and it belongs to you. So take it, own it, live it. Let your scars tell the world that you fought and survived. Let your light shine so brightly that it drowns out the shadows. Let your truth roar louder than their lies ever could. You are unbreakable. You are unstoppable. You are enough, and the world is waiting for you to rise. So rise. Rise and show them what happens when the lies couldn't break you and the truth set you free. Take a moment to look back. Look at the path you've walked, the storms you've weathered, and the battles you've fought. See it all, not with regret, but with reverence. Every scar, every tear, every moment of doubt has led you here, to this place of truth and transformation. You are not who you were when this journey began. You've shed the weight of their lies, stepped into the fire of your pain, and emerged as something stronger, brighter, unshakable. Do you see it now? The lies didn't break you. They tried. Oh, how they tried. They whispered to you in your weakest moments, wrapped themselves around your heart, and made you question everything you are. But lies are fragile things, aren't they? They can only hold power when you believe them. And now, standing here, you see them for what they've always been. Shadows, illusions, nothing more. And the truth? The truth has always been within you. It was there in the quiet moments when you refused to give up. It was there in the fire that kept burning, even when you thought it had gone out. It was there in the light that refused to be extinguished, in the strength that refused to bend, in the love for yourself that refused to fade. That truth is your greatest weapon, your brightest light, your unshakable foundation. You've transformed. You've taken the pain they handed you and turned it into power. You've taken the broken pieces of your past and built something beautiful, something whole, something uniquely yours. You've taken every moment they said you couldn't and turned it into proof that you can, you will, you are. So what's next? Anything you want. The world is no longer a place of limitations. It's a canvas, waiting for you to paint your story. The chains are gone, the doubts are silenced, the lies have been burned away by the fire of your truth. You stand here now not as someone who survived, but as someone who has thrived, someone who has risen, someone who has become. Remember this. The lies couldn't break you because they were never stronger than your truth. And now that you've stepped into that truth, there is nothing left to fear. For the game over. Starting now, knife and all. No storm, no shadow, no whisper of doubt can touch you now. You are free. Free to dream, to create, to live fully and unapologetically. Free to be everything they tried to convince you you couldn't be. As you walk forward from this moment, carry this with you. Your scars are not flaws, they are proof of your strength. Your pain is not your identity, it's the fuel for your growth. Your past is not your prison, it's the foundation of your power. And your truth is your freedom. Your truth is your light. Your truth is everything. This is your story, and it belongs to no one but you. You've reclaimed it, you've rewritten it, and now you hold the pen. So write boldly, live brightly, and never forget the power that lies within you. The world didn't break you. Their lies didn't stop you. Your truth has set you free, and now it's your time. Rise, shine, live. This is your story. Go and make it extraordinary.